So Lewis and three other men were off looking for the Shoshone. And on August 11th, finally they found him. Here's what happened. Lewis decided he had sort of a plan. Now, he didn't have Sacagawea with him. He's just got four men with guns. It's not, they're a small war party. The Shoshone are very afraid of this. But in all of his arrogance, he didn't bring her along, and he kind of figured, I can do this, without her. He didn't speak their language or anything. But he's out we're next to a small town called Grant. If you go up from the Clark Canyon Reservoir, up what is eventually called Lemhi Pass, because the group of Shoshone are the Lemhi Shoshone, Lemhi. And so he still was pretty desperate, had not seen him that morning. And so he made a plan. He had Drouillard. It was across this valley that's about 8 miles across, but he had Drouillard go to a mile away. He had Shields go on the other side, and they thought the three of them will keep walking up this valley because they were following an Indian road, which they lost. They couldn't find it anymore. And so they wanted to find the Indian road. And so they'd be about a mile apart from each other, proceeding up. And if either of them found anything, then they would put their hat on the end of their gun and hold it up and kind of wave it around, and so the others would know to go to them. Well, Lewis is in the middle with one other guy, and he's walking forward. This is a gradual slope uphill going into the Rockies, still following the Beaver Head River, and he sees an Indian on horseback in the far distance. And he gets out his telescope, and sure enough, the guy's dressed like a Shoshone. He's got a bow and a quiver of arrows on him, and he's not sure what to do, so he does what he thought was Shoshone tradition. He takes out a blanket, he throws it up in the air and lets it land, and then he starts taking out goods, like trade goods, to put down on the blanket as a sign of friendship. We should come and meet here. I have things to offer you. The Shoshone man, young warrior, just stayed there on his horse, didn't do anything. So Lewis started to approach him, and he kept moving towards him, and the guy just stayed there. When they were about a mile apart, he realized he can see the Shoshone man looking either way, because the Shoshone guy realizes there's guys on either side of him that are passing him now and closing in on him. And Lewis didn't want to yell at these guys, but he grabs his gun, because he's got to signal that, because they're kind of surrounding him. He hadn't thought this through. He grabs his gun and puts it on, or his hat, puts it on the end of his gun and starts waving it around. And they don't see him, and they keep marching on. And so he starts walking towards the Indian guy. He gets about 150 yards away, and he takes off his shirt so that he can see that he has white skin, as if this mattered. And he starts yelling, Tababone, which he thought meant white man, really means stranger. And the guy took off on his horse and left and got out of there. So this is the first time they'd seen any Native Americans since the Mandan, way back in what is now North Dakota, states and states away. It had been months, half a year since they'd seen a Native American, and the first Shoshone rode away from them in fear, probably to go alert the others.